Club, we'd like to welcome you all to tonight's District 35 State House of Representatives debate between Republican John Zamperi and Democrat Tom Pizzino. And also we have the District 33 Senate debate with Republican Art Linares, Green Party candidate Melissa Schlag, and Democrat Jim Crawford. I'm Kellen Murray, and this is Austin Coco, and we'll be moderating tonight's proceedings. First are the rules. Each candidate will receive 3 minutes for both opening and closing statements. Candidates will have 2 minutes to answer our questions in a rotating fashion, and then each candidate, if needed, will be given a 1-minute rebuttal period. All questions used tonight have been submitted by either students, faculty, or community members. We've tried to avoid asking specific questions aimed at one or another candidate. In doing so, we hope that the candidates will use our open-ended questions to state specific facts and examples to defend their opinions. Categories will vary of our questions. Some questions will be used for both debates since the category has relevance to both verses. We'll use a coin toss to determine order and stage position. Please refrain from cheering until the end of the debates, and we'll take a 10-minute recess between debates to rearrange the stage. Please take this opportunity to speak with political club members or candidates if you wish. Please be respectful and refrain from commenting during the debate this evening. Austin.
Let me take a quick minute to tell everybody here about our club here at Morgan School. The Morgan Political Club was started in 2005 just in hopes of sponsoring local debates such as the Select debates, Board of Ed debates, Board of Finance debates, etc. We were trying to bring more transparency to the local government and to the local elections. Our first event happened here when our current first selectman, Willie Fritz, had his debate against Arthur Isaacson in the fall of 2005. Since then, our club has really grown to sponsor more debates in local debates, such as more local Board of Selectmen debates, as well as you can see here, Senate state debates, both in the House of Representatives and the state Senate. We also invite guests of varying political backgrounds to speak to the people of the students that consist of the Morgan School Political Club. We've had a variety of people discussing a variety of issues, including 2006 Green Party gubernatorial candidate Cliff Thornton, Libertarian from Libertarian Board of Education from Haddam. We had Chet Harris. We had former Congressman Sam Gadenson, Tea Party activist Peggy Bushy, Republican Anselmo Delia, Democrat Lon Seidman, just to name a few of them. We schedule some field trips as well, including field trips. There's some in the works to go to New York. There's other ones. We try to go to rallies, usually larger debates and certain conferences, and we welcome any idea regarding speakers or possible trips. Now, let's begin tonight's proceedings because that's probably why we're all here. Well, the first question will go to Tom Pizzino.
Hello, my name is Lenny Paul, and on behalf of an anonymous Morgan student, I'd like to ask a question. Do you consider yourself to be a good representative of your political party? If so, why?
I couldn't understand the question.
Sorry. Do you consider yourself to be a good representative of your political party? If so, why?
I think I'm a good candidate for the state representative position for my party, being that I have a lot of experience being a two-term selectman in town, dealing with all kinds of governmental problems, budgets. Also, I've been a small businessman for 28 years with 10 employees. I know how to make a payroll, deal with insurance, taxes, and being involved with small business. This particular campaign is very business-orientated. And I think with my experience, I can do a lot to provide jobs and improve the economy. Thank you.
Same question there. I was listening to Tom. Can you repeat that again, please?
Do you consider yourself to be a good representative of your particular political party? And if so, why?
Okay, well, I've been a Republican since I turned 18 years old. As I told the kids yesterday, I did have a meeting with the political class or club. And it was probably the highlight of my campaign, to be honest with you. I enjoyed every minute of it. I thank you guys for having me. But when you look at the issues that are facing, for me, the issues of common sense, the things that we do, you look on television, you're watching these presidential, the Senate races, you watch a House seat. Everything in my life is common sense. And right now, the state of Connecticut, the way we run our government, the way we spend money, it just doesn't make sense. A representative of my party, there have been times when I get really aggravated with my own party. If you follow my career habit, you'll see that I started my career throwing a Republican out of office. He was too liberal. He raised my taxes. I wasn't happy. From an environmental standpoint, no one can touch my environmental stances. I'm a farm kid. I work in the trades. I rode horses my whole life. I shoot, I hunt, and I enjoy the state of Connecticut. And when you look at Republicans and Democrats, normally the Republicans are considered anti-environment. Well, that can't be any further from the truth. We've saved our shoreline. Anything that you look at around the state, if you see it's being preserved, it probably has a brand of Republican on it. So as far as my career, I started back in 1991. I ran like Melissa, the Senate lady, I don't know her last name. I ran as an independent because I was aggravated. I was a Republican, but I still threw my own people out. I went on in 1995 to run a councilman of large seat. My district in the city of West Haven there was 54,000 people, and I'm used to be working time. Oh, okay. Thank you. I got the nod.
If each candidate would like to give their opening statements now after that question.
I thought that was our opening statement.
As I said previously, I'm a two-term elected selectman in town, and I work very hard. Tonight is the first time that I've ever missed a meeting while being elected. I've made all my votes, hearings, and I took it very seriously. Also been on a total of about 15 boards and commissions, dealing with all kinds of different issues, from maintenance, infrastructure, the environment, education, tourism, small business, the economy, and economic development. I also have two sons that have gone through the local school system, and I know how important it is to be in tune with all of our local education budgets and issues. At this point, this election, as I mentioned before, is about jobs and the economy. We live in a very tourism-driven area. Tourism is our main industry here, and one of the items on my platform is to turn tourism into a year-round destination in Connecticut, along with some of the new jobs that you've heard about on television. Been very involved with the jobs bill, working on the express loan program. It's been very heavily in the media. These are things that are going to supply jobs to our economy. When people are working, they spend money, and our economy turns around. Businesses expand and add to their businesses, which extends our tax base, which brings down our property taxes. So as I was saying, anybody can sit up here campaign season and talk about it, but I've been doing it. Thank you.
That all sounds good, but you know, the real facts are the state of Connecticut, under the present administration for 40 years that I can remember, has always been run by the Democrats. The state of Connecticut has been driven into the ground. We probably rank, I think, third in taxation. Every time you turn around, there's another tax. I'm running, well, originally I thought, is that mine? Originally I thought I was running against Jim Crawford. So I kind of prepared all of my stuff for Jim Crawford. He's the biggest tax guy in the state. So I said, great, this guy's voted for 77 increases in taxes. Well, that's the guy I want to run against. Then all of a sudden, Jim decides he wants to move up, and I ended up with Tom. Well, there's not much difference between Tom, except I'm conservative and Tom's liberal. And I'm running against, for my party, to go to Hartford, we have to balance the power, the power. Even though we had Republican governors, they've never had the House or the Senate. We've had the Senate once, I think, in 22 years, and maybe back in 1980 when Reagan landslid the country, we might have had the House. And what happens is, throw that kid out of here. That's my son. So what happens, people like me get involved because we truly want to make a difference. And I'm not going up to Hartford to play Yahtzee or finger games. I'm going up to Hartford to truly change the way we've done business for 40 years. I've been in my trade since I was 13 years old. I've been swinging a hammer. I'm on my hands and knees like an animal. Do you know when my local government tried to tax me what I said? It's not going to happen. I'm not staying down on my hands and knees to work for people that are wasting my money and my time. This administration in here right now, led by the Democrats and Jim Crawford, have done nothing for the state. No jobs, we're still at 9%. The future in Connecticut, it's not going to sound like that. Yeah, you got to put a hand signal up or something at the time.
Okay.
Thanks.
We keep hearing about jobs from all excuse me, I'll start again. We keep hearing about jobs from all of our political candidates. However, you seldom hear specific ideas regarding job creation. What is your proposal to help create jobs in the 35th district?
Okay, as I said, I've been very involved with certain aspects of job creation. I was on the board of directors of the local Chamber of Commerce for several years. I'm the chairman of the Economic Development Commission in town, looking at ways that government can make it better for businesses to come into the area. I've been very involved with the new jobs bill, along with the Middlesex Chamber of Commerce. And in the last year, the Middlesex Chamber of Commerce has set up small loans for a total of $1.2 million for small businesses in the area. And in the last year, throughout the state, we've created over 3,000 jobs with the new jobs bill. These are low-interest jobs for regular businesses, grocery stores that want to expand, circuit board companies, as in Durham that wants to expand. There's a mail order company in Durham, a couple of other big loans. The Dock and Dine in Old Saybrook was hit by the storm. That particular business was wiped out. The state came in with a low-interest loan to preserve jobs. That particular chain is part of 6 businesses, which employs 300 jobs. These are all small interest loans to help small business. There's also tax credits up to $900 a month for small businesses. And I urge any small business in the room tonight, if you're looking to expand your business and create jobs, to contact the Middlesex Revitalization Group that I'm a part of, and we'll sit down with you, and if you can create jobs, there's all kinds of programs for people who are just not aware of. Thank you.
Jobs and economy. There's only one way to create jobs. You have to prepare the environment to create jobs. You can't just say, we're going to throw money at and bail out companies. You can't do any of that. Government in the state of Connecticut is the worst state to do business. I can tell you, I run a small business. You cannot continue to be taxed to death on gas, everything we do, on every part of energy, anything that we do in business. The Democrats are taxing us. The liberals are taxing us. You can't grow a business that way. Government needs to stay out of our way. Every regulation, I'm a small guy like me. I worked my whole life to get 1 master's license. Now all of a sudden I have to get 5 licenses. So before I even start my year, the government is in my pocket because they can't balance a budget. They have to stop spending like the kids in a candy shop. They have to slow that down, reduce that, stop putting regulations like they did on the lead company. The lead company is the biggest employer in this district. 900 people, and they're expanding in Westbrook, which is in my district. They have more regulations and reasons why they can't. I'm surprised they didn't pick up and go down south, because they can do business down there for half of what they're doing up here. And when, you got to do the nod. And one of the regulations they put on a business like that, they want them, the lead company, to expand the road, the state road coming into their facility. Now, would you think of a business-friendly state, what would they have done? A business-friendly state, controlled by the Democrats, would say, wow, why don't we take that money and open our own state road program? But no, they put the burden on the guys and girls that are going to expand and give us jobs. And that's just one regulation. Thanks.
Just a quick side note, if everyone would please silence their cell phones at this time for the remainder of the debate.
This question comes from Morgan Sue. I'm horrified with college loan debt. I want to attend college, yet I can ill afford to go into lifelong debt. What can we do to help reduce college costs, making college an affordable option for students in the 35th district?
Well, in my life, nothing's ever been handed to me. So for government, or state rep, or senator, or the governor himself, to say that we're gonna give you free tuition, or help with tuition, you have to help yourself. And the problem with the whole country is people are always looking for something. Get a job like I did, work in the summers, save your money. Obviously, you have a mom or a dad or one another. Don't keep running the government for all. Now, but if you look on the other side, not every kid is supposed to go to college. The trades are dying out. Plumbers, heating guys, electricians, carpenters. If you know that that's not a field that you're interested in, don't waste your mother's and father's money to have you dig yourself into a financial burden that you're going to have to live with the rest of your life. Pick your field. Most of the people on the trades, I mean, every time I turn around, there's another, master's degree swinging a hammer on the side. And I'm saying, well, why did you spend all that money? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're in the trade where you probably would have ended up. So you have to look at, not everyone's made to go to college. Thanks.
Mr. Luciano?
Okay, college is very expensive, and in this future economy, there's a high demand for mathematics, engineering, and science jobs, especially in this state. So the investment of college over a long term is a very good investment, especially where we live, with all of our very good universities and colleges. At this point, there are other students that should look for VOTEC, vocational educations. There's a big demand for all kinds of technical work out there. The average age of the person in Connecticut and throughout the country is about 55 years old. So there's a big demand for all kinds of training. That's why I've been very involved with our local industrial vocational schools. Most of my life, I volunteer about 20 hours a year to the Vinyl Tech School, and I've been involved every year with all of their contests and sitting down with the teachers, working on the curriculum. That's where I graduated, that's where I got my degree, and that's how I make my living. So there's many different ways that we can go out to get a degree, take some vocational training, and go out and get a job and be part of the economy. Thank you.
All right, our next question is from a Clinton resident. Gas prices in Connecticut are some of the highest in the nation. This hurts middle-class families like my own. Would you be in favor of reducing state tax on gasoline? And would you propose looking into more investment in public transportation? Mr. Luciano?
Absolutely. The first thing we have to look at is we need to get as much reimbursement from the feds as possible. The gas tax is very high in the state of Connecticut. And as far as public transportation is a big part of saving money. Anybody that lives near public transportation and uses it will save about 19% of their budget. Someone that uses public transportation and saves 19% of their budget usually lives nearby and will take that money and put it back into the economy. So anything to enhance our small rail service, such as Shoreline East, some of our bus services, some of our roads and bridges need work. But as far as public transportation goes, I highly recommend it. It's good for the environment with the release of emissions, and it's a good way to put money back into the economy. Thank you.
Mr. Sampieri?
Gas prices.
Yes.
Everybody knows that if government keeps spending, if the government of Connecticut keeps, if we keep spending the way we are in the state of Connecticut, gas prices aren't going down, they have to go up. The government has found every area, the present governor right now, has found every area he can tax. From cigarettes to booze to gasoline, everything. Every time he turns around, he's reaching into someone else's pocket. Yeah, it's great. This massive transportation, that's all good. It doesn't work in Killingworth. It doesn't work in Westbrook. It barely works down here in the center. This isn't about a big transit system. The governor's wasting money on some busway to nowhere. at about $1,000 an inch to a year. How does that benefit us? And these Democrats keep voting it in and voting it in. No resistance. Even if a conservative stood up and said, boy, Governor, you're killing the state of Connecticut. You're destroying everything in this state. People are pulling out. And don't ask me that question about how I'm going to keep kids in this state. Because you have to go and make a living, just like my son. I used to work in one little area. Now I have to go further. And the further I go, the more it costs for your business. And if you have, it all starts up top. Government's too big in this state. The government is too big. But the governor never says, well, let's reduce or cut the way we spend. He just keeps spending. Well, I'm going up there to try to bring some common sense to the governor. The governor's out of control. And you say, well, what do you mean he's out of control? Well, look at the state. Are your families any better off since the 2 years that he took office with the House and the Senate? So you got to tell me what they've done.
This question comes from a Clinton teacher. Clinton receives a higher percentage of state funding than neighboring towns, often helping those in town who are most needy. Would you fight to keep these levels of funding for our most poor?
Mr. Sampieri.
Sure. I mean, if that's what we need to continue to improve our education system, and that helps you students, certainly. If it helps the administration, probably not. If it all funnels back to you guys, and it's something that improves, and you guys come to me after you graduate high school and say, you know what, thank you for doing this, this, and that helped improve education. But there are times we have to look at teachers. The government has a great idea. The government, when he took over, he had some great ideas. He did. He was going to test teachers. Beautiful. Just like the kids get tested. Just like I get tested every single day. When I install a furnace, or a ductwork, or piping, or a boiler, or kill myself on my hands and knees in the crawl space, when I'm all done, I get a test. If they don't like it, they don't pay me. But you know what? Teachers get paid the same all the time. Now, how are we supposed to see or figure out if a teacher's a good teacher or a bad teacher? Governor Molloy was right on track. He said, we're going to do this, this, and that. And then as soon as he got that pressure from the unions, what did he do? He ran home like a baby. He did nothing. He pushed from the table. We're going to negotiate this. Oh, I'm pushing from the table. I'm done here. And then 2 days later, it's back at the table. Well, the government needs to be put in his spot. I'm going to Hartford to make a difference. I'm not going up there to fill a seat. I ran for state representative in 1992. It's been a dream of mine for 20 years to go to Hartford. And I'm back here after 20 years. The guy that I ran against in 1992, he's going to be up there 22 years. 20 years now, 2 more because he just won. And he has no opposition. You know what he does? Twiddles his thumb like this. Nothing. You've never heard of my opponent, and you will never hear of him because he takes his pay, goes home, and says, I'm a Democrat. I can win. Big deal. We need change, and it only comes from people who have the courage to make a difference. Do you think I care if I ever get elected again? I want to fix the state. Thanks.
The education cost sharing system is a very sensitive system that is out there to benefit all the towns and cities. And it's something that we really need to investigate a little bit to make sure it's fair for everyone. Every dollar that we spend on our municipal education budgets, we know that 90 cents out of a dollar goes towards the teachers, the building, the fuel. So we need to manage what we get from the state very thoroughly to get the best out of our education fund. Thank you.
The next question comes from another Clinton resident. Mr. Vecino, what will you do to make our state business friendly, especially smaller businesses?
Smaller businesses, one of the things that I hear from businesses is we do have too much red tape. Anytime that you want to file a license, get a permit for something, there's just a lot of red tape. I think it's the culture of our state, and that's why I agree with the governor's new initiative plan to look at each department, and since he's been there, he's cut down from 81 to 60 departments, making it a little bit more streamlined for us to deal with our government agencies, to make it easier on everyone. That keeps the cost of business down, provides jobs, and helps the economy grow. Thank you.
Mr. Sampieri.
question. Well, I answered it before, but I'll answer it again. The governor and the legislative body and the Senate, I don't know if they run businesses or not. Obviously, either they were born into politics or however they got into it. All I haven't been born into politics. I've worked my whole life. Prior to that, I worked the farm. Hay the horses, watered the horses, did all the work. When I went to my first debate back in 1991, it was a shame. I went into this room, there were 3 other candidates. I had just cleaned my barn, I had my bib overalls on, I had manure all over my feet. When I walked in that room, I realized in 1991 that the political world isn't made for trades guys. It's not made for farmers. It's not made for common sense people. It's made for yackers. They just want to talk. They hear themselves doing this. Look at me, I talk. Look at that. Look at this bill. Or a bunch of attorneys jumping up and down, trying to legislate new laws. We can't enforce the ones that are on the books. So a legislator's job is really to represent the district and try to influence through the business, hopefully the business community. When you talk about all the red tape wasn't just dropped out of the sky. The red tape was put there by the liberals, the Democrats. Everything, they want money, 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 money. I'm surprised they're not running the door right now and reaching in my pocket. And I'm sick and tired of trying to do it. And when you try to get into my pocket, guess what? I zip them up, tell me why. It's a good reason. I'll back that governor. In 2 years, if I go to Hartford, I'll put that guy on the stage and I'll praise him if he listens. If he doesn't listen, he can go home in 2 years. And I'll be the person that tries to get him to go home. I'm not going to Hartford to play little games. I don't even like debating. I don't like standing up here. I'm a worker. Workers work, talkers yak. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question is from another Clinton resident. What will you do to protect the environment in our region, and why does the environment matter to shoreline residents?
The environment's always been my strong suit. You talk to anyone across the state and anyone who's ever known me. In West Haven, I brought suit against the West Haven Planning and Zoning and inland wetlands. They wanted to build 61 houses in the wetland area, and that's really how I got involved. In 1991, I ran against the mayor. Not only did he raise my taxes, and he had to go home. He tried to get involved in my lawsuit, and that was another reason he got there. I told him to stay out. They were trying to put 61 houses in, I don't know, it was 40 acres. And I said, if you fill the wetlands, where does that water go? Well, it came down on my farm. And the developer basically said, I don't care about your farm. And you know what I said? I don't care about your development. You're not putting one house out there. And after 4 years, litigation, $67,000. Guess what? Kids in West Haven down there are enjoying 60 acres of open space that will never be touched. And in doing so, we also created a land trust. Yeah. I founded a land trust with another fellow on the shore. We have the longest public shorelines where I came from. And it didn't just show up there. One day, people have the right to develop. So we formed a land trust and worked very hard to say, you're not developing the land. The land is where the old Satin Rock was. And people have the right of this mile stretch. And when I said no, it didn't go. They didn't build there. And that's how you save the environment. People who talk about the environment, I'm the Connecticut Farm Bureau. I've been a lifelong member of Connecticut Farm Bureau. We constantly fight to not only save farms, but all of the other land is shellfish and all of the things that go along with agriculture. Jobs in the Farm Bureau, they're there. People have land, you sit over.
I'm a big supporter of the environment. If you look at my record, I've supported anything to do with shellfishing, the beaches, our marinas, clean water in town, fishing, boating, and anything to do with our main industry of tourism in this area. As people come to the shoreline to spend their money and spend their vacations down here, they're not going to come down here unless we have a good record of environmental avenues, that we keep our tourism industry very 100% clean and clear and open. This provides jobs, which helps the economy, which helps our tax base, which keeps our property taxes down. It also helps our restaurants, our bed and breakfasts, And this is our main business down here, so anything I can do to promote the environment in my home district, the 35 district, this is what I am running for. Thank you.
All right, closing statements. Mr. Casino, you can start.
Okay, tonight you came to listen to the two candidates. At campaign season, anybody can tell you what they're going to do. I'd like you to look at my record and look at all the different 15 boards and commissions that I've been on. I've never missed a selectmen's meeting. I took it very serious. By voting for me, you're voting for someone that's going to work very hard in the future, just like my record. And this is an election about family to family, citizen to citizen, voter to voter, parent to parent. It's a very critical time in our economy, and we need somebody that can promote jobs, economic development, and do what we can do to keep our neighbors working. Thank you for coming. Thanks, Morgan Political Club. I hope you'll vote for me on November 6th. Thank you very much.
Mr. Sampieri.
I've served in a couple of different elected capacities. As a fire commissioner in West Haven, I took over a bankrupt district. I stood in a crowd of 500 people before I even took my office and said, would you run for fire commission? I promised those people, because at the time the commission before me was trying to raise our mill rate in our fire, so we're a self-taxing fire district. I promised those people if they elected me, not only would I cut what they were going to do, but I would cut 3 mills off everyone's taxes. Everyone said that could not be done. We were already in a bankrupt district. I'm a proven leader. When I got elected that May, went right to the books, cut 3 mills, held it for my 2 terms. You know how much work that was? It was a $1,000 stipend job. It was 40 hours a week for me to continue to be sure that people in my district were protected, my fire trucks were purchased, my men were paid, their equipment was perfect. And do you know how many people said thank you? Not one. You know why? Because I didn't want to be thanked. I did it because it was the first time in our history, it will be the first time up in Connecticut, that we're going to reduce spending, cut the cost of doing business here, and move this state forward. I'm not a lip service guy. Everything I've done in my business, as a little kid, 13 years old, I started swinging a hammer. I will keep swinging my hammer when I get to Hartford. But if you want to change the landscape, if you're just in here to listen to another liberal speech or another conservative speech, don't. There's 150 other legislators, 36 senators. I'm not going up there to be their friends. I want to make a difference. When people talk about crossing aisles, there is no aisles. There isn't anything in the middle. The only thing that's in the middle is Democrats like this. I'm not crossing their aisle. Well, guess what? I'm going over there. I'm going in their aisle. I'm going to work in our aisle. And then the governor is going to hear what I have to say. I play no games. I take no prisoners. If anyone knows me, you know. I say it the way it is. If you want it some other way, if you want touchy-feely and want me to say all these wonderful things, the world isn't that nice. You're going to find out when you go out and work. Send me to Hartford, and I will guarantee that Golden Dome, the pillars, is going to shake. Because I'm not going up there to hold hands. Thank you. Make sure you all get out. Whether you vote for me or Tom, he seems like a wonderful guy. I got to say that this class and these kids, they drilled me yesterday. I let them all ask me questions that I probably wouldn't answer in this room today. They were great. I love all of you guys, and thank you.
Thank you both for coming out this evening. We'll be having a brief 10-minute intermission. At this time, you can talk